Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is PoppinCulture Movie Reviews. My guest today is Austin Hughes. He's a comedian out of Charleston. You can catch him in North Carolina and South Carolina. He also hosts the Purple Buffalo. It is an open mic every Wednesday in Charleston. Show starts at 7. Please, guys, go out and support if you live in the Charleston area. It's a great open mic. The movie that we'll be reviewing is Stand and Deliver. You chose this movie. Is there any special reason why you chose it?
Me and my roommates, we just like to put on like random movies, and sometimes we'll filter through like the award winning, and we saw this one, and it's parodied by like so many like awesome comedy shows like Family Guy and South Park that I was just like, I've got to see this. Like, I've got to know why Cartman just keeps going, how do I reach these kids? And so just chose this movie and ended up watching it, and it was awkward.
Awkward is definitely the best word for this movie. Before we get into it, this movie review is going to be 100% spoilers. Before we spoil the movie, would you suggest the audience to watch it?
Yeah, I mean it's a movie, so. But yeah, dude, I so much wanted to just like cut in right before you said it was a spoilers and be like, and the alien dies at the end, but you know, now you've already said spoilers, so there's no aliens in this movie. Spoiler, there's no aliens.
Okay, because that one person that believes you is just like, I watched this whole movie and it was not one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I would say yes, watch it. No rush, but it's a decent movie, and if you watch it, just remember it's a movie of its time.
Yeah.
From this point on, we'll be spoiling the movie.
The alien dies at the end. No.
Yeah.
Just like an E.T. Spoiler.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be one racist person to watch this movie. Like, I know what he meant by alien.
I didn't even think about that.
It's gonna be one.
Yeah, not tactful, I guess.
One racist. It's like, I know what he meant by alien.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is 100% a movie of its time. You told me over the phone about the rating. This movie's rated PG-13.
Yeah.
What was going on at that time for this movie to be rated PG-13?
Well, and that's the thing. You say it's rated PG-13 because you watched it on Amazon. I watched it on Netflix,
right,
and it was rated
right.
PG. And like drugs, violence, like a lot of profanity, which is like fine. Like, I'm not deterred by it. But like when you see PG, you think like Frozen. You're not thinking like, you know, a movie about a bunch of kids doing drugs and like gun violence and stuff like that. Like, and also like very many sexual innuendos that wouldn't fly anymore, I'd say.
And shouldn't have flown back then, but
yeah, just blatant racism like throughout the entire film. Like, which is insane that this was like an award-winning film. And you brought up that like there's no like really like famous people in it, which I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah, there's no big stars except for the La Bamba guy.
Yeah, which I think is hilarious that he's the level of stardom that this film is. But it won an award because it's based on a true story about a dude who goes into an inner city school, and he essentially like sacrifices his success as like a professor and all this stuff to like go help this this public school like learn math. And like he goes to great lengths, almost like messing up his marriage, to like teach these kids math when they're in like senior year in high school and they can't even like work with like negative numbers. And he ends up getting them to pass the AP calculus exam in
Twice.
What?
They have to pass it twice.
Yeah, they have to pass it twice because they don't believe that they actually passed it. And so they take it again because they thought they cheated because, you know, they're just like inner city school, they're dumb. And so they take it again and they pass it again. And then as he's like at this great scene at the end, he's like walking down the hall, and like it shows that like every year he got more and more students to pass this exam, which is, you know, tearjerker. You know, that's probably why it won an award. But
yeah, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna discuss the whole movie, guys. But like, it was so like clear, like how like racist it was back then. It's still racist now, don't get me wrong. But when it was like, no, there's no way they passed. And like they emphasized that scene so strongly, which they should have, which I really thought that was a powerful scene in the movie. It was just like, no, it's no like maybe. It was just like, no, they couldn't have did it. Like there's no way this could have been done. So when they passed it the second time, it was just like, all right, this is a clear cut now. Like
yeah, and it shows like, you know, great like a cultural responsibility, because like he is of that like you know, ethnicity, and he wants to like give back, you know, and he, you know, forgoes the reputation and all this. Like there's a scene where he's like outside like taking his trash out or something, and his neighbor is like also a teacher or something, and the guy like kind of laughs at him because he's at this school now, and like, and you know, it's like embarrassing for him to be at like such like a low level school, and like you can clearly tell like the difference between him and like everybody else on the staff, like because like, you know, they're talking about like, you know, we need to just meet the regulation number so we can get our funding or for people who pass the test. And he's like, why are we not like trying to teach, like, and he's like, I'll teach him calculus. And they're like, no, there's no way. Like even the teaching staff doesn't believe in the students, but like he does. And so that's good.
yeah, and that's a real deal. Like even my own personal experience, I don't know if you have your own. I only took one honors class my whole time in high school. And I remember being in that honors class, and the teacher was just like, I don't know, maybe she just thought I was in other honor classes or not. I forgot why they even put me in that honors class. But I just remember the way the teacher spoke to them, the other kids. And I was just like, wow. And the one thing that stuck in my head that reminded me of this movie so well was, it was a science teacher. I can't remember her name. But this bitch, I'm saying bitch because, she was a bitch. This bitch said, you guys don't say you're the future. You're not like them. You guys are going to college. You're going to do this.
Jeez.
You're going to do that. You guys are the future. You're not like those other kids. This is honors. Okay? You guys are going places. And I'll never forget, I sat in the front on the right, on the her right, my left. And I was sitting there, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, I gotta go back to a regular English class. Next period is a regular English class, and I have to like remember and sit there. Even when I graduated, I was just like, you know, I went to a tech school. I didn't go to a university, and I just like it. Just suddenly it stuck with me that whole senior year. It stuck with me when I was in tech school. It was just like, man, I was really just like, I'm not saying program, but like no one ever said you should go to a university when I was in those classes.
Yeah.
I wasn't in like slow classes, but it was like in the regular classes. Nobody ever said anything about, oh, you're going to go get a degree, you're going to go do this. I did that one honors class, and literally everything was about them going to get a degree. And it just like, it was one of those things where it just like, it still stuck with me. And when I saw the movie and I saw that scene, it was just like, yeah, like going to a public school, like it's, some teachers is just like, yeah, this guy's pretty much, he's going to be working at Subway or he's going to be in prison.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't need to know fucking Hamlet.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
He needs to know omelet. Yeah. That's what he needs to know.
Yeah. And that was just, I wish I knew that bitch name. I'd call out, but.
Yeah, hit her up on Facebook, be like, bitch.
Oh, let me blow up as a comedian. Oh, she's on the list. She's on the list, bitch.
You find her.
Yeah.
First Netflix special is just an hour of roasting her.
Yeah, bitch. Did I need to know anything about science to get here? I still don't know what the fuck a hypothesis is, but bitch, I'm here now.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, guys, to get back to the movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's like the quote I wrote down that is like the moment I was just like, this movie's ridiculous, is when he talks to, like, he's telling the students, he's like trying to get them to learn negatives or something, and he asks a question, and like this little Asian girl in the back of the class, she goes does two, and he's like what was that, and like walks up and then like puts his hands on the desk and is like, say it louder, like, you know, he's like trying to get her to be like proud of or whatever that she got it right, and she's like, two, and he's like, that's right, and I also heard that your people are great in bed, and he's like a grown man with like a comb over. Like, so it's like the perfect pedophile moment. It's like, I just wonder if there's like pedophiles at home just like watching, just going, yeah, finally somebody. And it's just, and he continues to do this stuff where like every time like a girl raises her hand, he like grabs it and is like caressing it. It's like, answer the question, yes. And like, and then like all this sexual harassment happens, and then his idea, because they won't let the kids go to summer school to keep learning calculus, is he meets in a locker room where everybody's sweating and like taking off their clothes, and it's just like, where's this movie going? Like, if you're watching it for the first time, you're like, is he gonna touch one of these kids, or have they already been touched? Like, it's just, it's wild. It's wild that all that was just not thought of when they were writing the script.
But it just emphasized like so much of how much education was like, no, they're going to learn. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely some undertones. Well, not even undertones. It was overtones in this movie.
It's pretty blatantly obvious.
Yeah. And I would love to know how much of that based on a true story is true.
Yeah.
I mean, we joke about that scene. Mm-hmm. I hope he wasn't touching anybody. But like, these weren't like the nicest kids either. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not saying beating by your ass in real life, but I'm pretty sure he had to be like, I don't use the word hands on, but like he had to scare a few of those kids to like learn.
Well, yeah, there's the scene where he like walks up to the two guys in the back who are like the gangster like aesthetic or whatever, and he just keeps going. He just like is making fun of him and is like essay, and is like, and I mean, I think like part of that was like the you know, like intimidation, I'm not scared of you, like type, you know, like teaching style, I guess, that he had or whatever. But I don't know if he, I mean, I don't know, maybe smacked a kid or two around. But back in the day, you know, that was PG. You were allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like, you know, you just like, you know, leave it to their parents, hopefully. So
parents, beat your kids, you know, that's my... Is that not what you wanted on the podcast? Never mind. Don't beat your kids.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where I am like on that spectrum. Just because like I don't. Last thing I want to do is somebody like, hey, my son just robbed a guy and I found out, and now I slapped the shit out of him. Like, I don't want to be that parent. But like, you shouldn't have slapped him even though he robbed somebody. Like, yeah, I think you should beat your kids.
Good pop.
Yeah, because if he robs the wrong person, he's going to get shot. So, like, I would rather beat the shit out of your kid instead of him dying.
Also, probably robbing people because you didn't beat him, you know?
You went super Hallmark.
Hey, look in the camera, everybody.
Yeah. But true. Yeah. But we go back to, like, it not being a lot of big stars, and of course, it's overacted in some scenes, but I think everyone gave pretty much either their A game or their B game when it came to acting.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's well done. I'll say I don't think the lead, the teacher, had that accent, and he was playing with that accent, because the accent is like, everything is like the cartoon version of like if somebody like said, like, it was like cartoonishly like I wrote down like it opens on a Hispanic like community, and immediately like it cuts to like just the most stereotypical like things that you would think of, and it's just like the entire movie is very on the nose. That's like the perfect idiom to like use for this. Like, it's like every teaching stereotype, every like poor neighborhood stereotype, every Hispanic stereotype is like in this movie, and so it just becomes like one of those things where it's just like, this was definitely released in the 80s. Like,
yeah, this is because it was kind of, in my opinion, it was definitely a stereotype-driven movie. Yeah. Where like this is somebody wrote this and it was like, this is what I think. This is what I think is like this. But I think they actually did have a few people like, hopefully there was like, no, this is actually how it is. Because there was a few scenes where, especially where you could tell where they shot on location. Yeah. Where it was like, no, we can't fake the funk here. Let's like let's make sure we shoot and we're not being over the top. We're just showing like a real situation, which are few and far between. I agree, but it was definitely a few places. You said you took a few other notes. I have something that I want to say, but it's kind of like messed up.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie that are not meant to be funny, but I think are funny.
Oh yeah, that's why the movie is great.
Because you could tell this scene was meant to be heartwarming, but they weren't. And it was scenes that was meant to be sad, but wasn't. And the scene, and please don't judge me, guys. Like, please keep watching the podcast and the movie review. But the scene where he has the heart attack.
Oh yeah. he the way he falls down the stairs is like, it's all just so good.
Guys, please watch or YouTube that scene so you don't think I'm an evil person. But I believe that was probably a one take. Like, I don't think they did multiple takes. Long story short, he's having a heart attack while he's walking down steps. And I could tell, like, in his mind, it was like, this floor is dirty. That's all I could compare. Like, he was just like, oh, man, I got to try to, like, act like I'm having a heart attack, end up on this dirty floor. And it's so long. Like,
it's a very long scene. And also the way how, like, at the end, like, he falls and he's on stairs and he falls and he's on the ground. But, like, you can tell, like, he really isn't, like, you can tell he is, like not okay with, like, being on the ground. And then, like, right before the scene, like, cuts, like, he just kind of, like, drops a little bit. It's just, like, I don't know, dude. It's just these things that, like, are just, like, slapstick comedy that is not supposed to be comedy.
Because the whole time I saw it, I'm really big into like musical and plays, and all the time I'm thinking, I was like, this is like when you're on stage and they're like, okay, this is the scene where you get stabbed. Make sure you be like over dramatic about the stab. Like, I don't know if you ever seen somebody get stabbed in real life, but like usually, depending on where they get stabbed, they just like, oh, curl up and fall. It's like, you see me? Like,
yeah. You're over dramatizing it or whatever.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't think this is a heart attack, but you know, that was a powerful scene too, especially since he was helping so many people and then he ended up having a heart attack with nobody around. But that scene when he comes back to the classroom, and everybody's excited to see him, they nailed that. Wardrobe, like, do you think that was spot on for the time, or do you think they kind of like stereotyped it a little bit?
Well, I mean, once again, like, cliches. Like, I mean, it's everything in this movie felt like a cliche. I mean, I don't. You know, I've never lived in that area, so like maybe it just felt like cliche-ish. But I mean, nothing in wardrobe like necessarily like stood out to me. I thought it was a weird choice for him to have his hair the way it was. Like, it just made him look more creepy. So when there were those sexual innuendos and he was like touching all of the kids, like, it just kind of was just like, and he's got the big like pedo glasses too, like, so yeah. But
after doing a little research, it's kind of, I couldn't find anything of the guy's voice, but that was kind of spot on too.
That's what he looked like. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then, you know.
Yeah, they didn't want to concussion it, I guess.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I mean by concussion, like, Will Smith doesn't look like that guy at all from the movie Concussion.
Oh, I thought you meant like, oh, wait, what is concussion?
It's about the guy that told the NFL about CTE, and the NFL was like, well, we don't care. And and I finally got to see the African guy, and he looks nothing like Will Smith.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I look more like that guy than
Will Smith does.
Yeah, so, what was your favorite scene? If you have one.
Oh, scene I cracked up at that I really liked was the scene where he goes to the like school board people who were like saying like, you couldn't have passed this, poor people are dumb, and he goes there and he's like telling them like, no, they passed this, you're only doing this because like you're racist and classist and all this stuff, and like the dude who is telling him off or whatever, like from the school board, every time like he finishes his sentence, like, I'm not gonna do it on the table, but he does like one of those like knocks, like he's like and that's that, and he does it like 5 times, and it just becomes like this weird thing that I'm like, no one told him like that wasn't going to be his last word. Like, why doesn't he just do it at the end? Like, but he just keeps doing it and turning around and keeps doing it, like just doing these one-off. And it's like, why? Like, I swear to God, this movie was done in one take. And like, no one,
I agree.
No one went back and looked at any of it. They were like, that's good.
It was either that or they were like, we have no budget. Like,
yeah, of course.
Like, it is, we got one take. We got this high school for a week.
Yeah. You knock as many times as you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a favorite scene of mine.
Nice. I gotta say it's definitely the ending for me. The ending was because I'm a big fan of Lean on Me, and I feel like this movie had like that same kind of tone as Lean on Me. Just like, I think pretty much the same tone as Lean on Me, just with different races. Edward, make sure I'm pronouncing his name right.
The almost guy, whatever.
Yeah, the teacher, Edward James Olmos. I think in a nutshell, I don't think anybody else could have played that role better. Like, I know he wasn't like, he was definitely, a cartoon character at places, but I truly don't think anybody else can play him. Like, I can't imagine any other actor.
Really?
Who do you think could have did it?
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like there's got to be somebody out there who could have. I don't know. Like, and we were talking about like remakes and like how like
Not this movie.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, you would cut so much from this movie, like if you did a remake. But I feel like there's like somebody who could like, I don't know, like just it be more authentic. Because like, I mean, in the first scene where this guy's talking, you're just like, you clearly do not talk like this, because it's like it's so cartoonish and over the top, and like everything is. And so like, and I think for me that like as far as like movies goes, that's like that pulls me out of the movie. Like when I can like tell the people are like acting, like it just becomes like it becomes less genuine, and then like those heartfelt scenes or those like tragic moments they don't hit as hard, because it's just like I have no investment in this, because it's like I know this is all just like fake. And it's like with movies, it's like you do understand it's fake, but you want to be pulled in enough like, to somebody's role in the way they're acting, that like it almost like tricks you into thinking like, it tricks you into caring about like the characters and stuff. But when it's so over the top, like it's just like I can laugh at a guy having a heart attack because I'm like, I know he didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah. I'm the total opposite of that coin. I definitely agree with you what you're saying 100%. But when it comes to this movie, I just like let go of my belief at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's why I guess I just enjoyed it so much. Because like the scenes that like, okay, we need to make sure the scene means something. I think they nailed it. But with the scenes was like,
Yeah.
just we got to push this point on. So like I said, this movie was not meant to be a comedy, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Do you believe it's a part of pop culture, or do you think it's just another movie?
Yeah, if you're gonna understand, I mean, as far as I go, like now I understand what's being parodied by like all these comic writers, and so like like it's like watching a comedy skit about Top Gun and have never seen Top Gun. Go see Top Gun so you get the joke. So it's part of culture. I think when something like The Simpsons is making fun of something, like it's like The Simpsons is like one of the biggest things in culture, and they're talking about things that are culture. So Stand and Deliver, you made it into culture.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it's part of pop culture. Austin, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Do you exist? I did that on the last one, didn't I? Or did I? I don't know. Aha, another joke. If you didn't watch the other one, go watch the other one. That's what I'm going to say. Go watch that other podcast he does. It was good as well, And also go watch Stand and Deliver. It's a good movie.
Thanks, man. Can you tell people where they can find you?
On Instagram, 843IAUS, 843IOS. Yeah.
All right. Thank you again so much for coming on to the movie review, and you guys have an amazing day.